20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
What has passed is merely the prologue.
A new era will be ushered in. But not before the final act.
If you read between the lines.
Our purpose has been eternal.
Fear.
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 To you, I'm a clown.
A caretaker.
A storyteller.
A director. An usher.
But to he who is fear,
We are so much more.
I am chaos.
Death.
Sacrifice.
Legend.
Vengeance.
We have provided the path.
From which fear will be revealed.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Just-in-Time Entertainment video. Today we're discussing HHN 20 Years of Fear.
It's a great
back
year.
In 2010, yes.
A very good year.
And as you can see, I got a nice little guest here, Luke, my best friend.
Hi
Luke.
guys, how you doing?
We're going to discuss most of the event because I didn't get to go. I was banned. So, hey! Hi, Luke!
Hello!
So, alright, so HHN 20 Years of Fear, icon was?
Fear himself.
Okay. And this year it says, for the past 19 years he's been the master behind every frightened scream, every ghoulish creature, every monstrous cruelty at Halloween Horror Nights have been under his command. Now for the first time ever he emerges from the shadows to finally take ultimate control and reign over all he's created. So, yeah. And what do you think of the year?
It was really good. It set the bar a lot higher than other years.
This is also an anniversary year.
An anniversary. It was the second anniversary year that I've been to, as well as the event itself has celebrated. But for this year, Horror Nights 20, they wanted to take the bar and push it way over. So for the next 20 years, this technology can be seen, and we've seen new technology in this event that we've never seen before, on top of the old school technology that has been used in Horror Nights past. So you kind of get a taste of the past all the way up to the current future, and then the upcoming years have taken that further and further and further.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the houses, we're going to discuss the scare zones, we're going to discuss the shows, prices, the dates for the event, and include a couple other things, but we'll get to that later. Yeah. So, first house, let's get started, was Catacombs Black Death Rising. So here is the wallpaper for this one. So pretty cool wallpaper for that one, guys. And the bio reads this for this house. In 1534, an undisclosed outbreak plague thousands of citizens in Paris as a group of doctors quarantined the most infected against their will. The townspeople turned and sealed them to their doom. After almost 500 years, they remained without escape. Until now, they are rising, ready to take vengeance on any living being that dares to enter the catacombs. So, pretty good one?
That was a interesting house. It felt more like you were walking through the caves. There were doctors coughing on you and stuff like that. They used a lot of good special effects in this house. I mean, the ending was really cool where you walked through a museum and you thought everybody was fake. But fate decides. It wasn't. Everybody was alive and they all jumped out at one time. So it kind of gave you that final scare to run out of the house.
Yep.
But it was very well played.
Alright, so the next house, guys, is going to be Hades, the Gates of Ruin. Take a look at that wallpaper. Alright, and he's going to discuss the bio on this one.
Alright, Hades, Gates of Ruin. Hades bids you welcome. Make your way into the underworld and come face to face with the most terrifying creatures of legend as you cross through the Gates of Ruin. This house, I remember, was very dark, but also very gory. It was one of the goriest houses of the year. But what I loved about it is it based off lore from like Cyclopses, Minotaurs, and all that crazy Greek mythology and everything like that. But I just remember this house was all based on torture. But the way it was designed was phenomenal. It was really cool.
Nice.
I really enjoyed that one.
Alright, moving on, guys. Havoc Dogs of War is the next house. And take a look at that wallpaper for that one. Alright, so cool wallpaper, guys, and the bio for this house is 10 years ago, the Shadow Creek Enterprise was tasked with developing an elite corps of soldiers. They succeeded. Through an inhalant, sorry guys, difficult word there, that includes a compound of testosterone, adrenaline, and other anesthetics. Shadow Creek's latest run of volunteer test subjects are ready for inspection. The project name, Havoc. The subjects are known simply as Dogs of War.
This house, I remember, was very kind of like playing the game Doom. Like, these super soldiers were injected with a serum to the point where the soldiers that created them could not take them down. These guys were just so powerful. You could shoot them with bullets and shotguns and anything, and they just will not stop. The only way to take them out, dismember them, obviously. But I remember the entrance of the house looking like a giant bunker, like a military bunker. So when you walk through, it really made me feel like I was, like I said, I'm a huge gamer, so I compare it to Doom, because it felt like wandering through the halls of a military base, and you got these guys coming after you, along with the military soldiers trying to shoot them down and telling you got to get out of here, go.
Nice.
But it was an amazing house.
I would have loved to have seen it.
It was really good. It was a good one.
Alright, moving on, guys. Next one is what probably would have been my favorite house had I gone.
My number one favorite.
Horror Nights: The Hollowed Past. First look at the wallpaper. Cool wallpaper for that one. Bio, please.
Halloween Horror Nights, the name brings with it millions of tales, each filled with thousands of screams. Tonight, you have the opportunity to travel into a realm where Horror Nights isn't just an event, it's a reality. Now, this house was by far my favorite of this year. You walked in, the entire house was a giant warehouse to start of everything from Horror Nights, its beginning, all the way to the current date. When you go through the rotating tunnel, everything comes alive. Everything that you knew from the past, each room was designated from a past house or even a scare zone, from the beginning of Horror Nights' time to the previous year before the 20th anniversary. It was incredible. Nice. And that's why I rated as number one on my list for that year.
It was also number one for my girlfriend Kira, because she did go to this event as well.
Yep.
And it was also her favorite. I know that for a fact because she told me. So, for me, I don't know, because I didn't get to go.
What I loved about it is I like the audio tracks in the background, because they played like clips of the past iconic characters, like unedited cuts from Sweet 16 and everything like that. So it kind of, you're like, oh my god, I know this voice. But it was an incredible house. I liked it very much.
Moving on, guys. This house actually has a lot of depth within Horror Nights, and means a lot to Horror Nights. It's Legendary Truth, the Wyandotte Estate.
Wyandotte Estate.
Wyandotte Estate, yeah. And first, look at the wallpaper, and we'll discuss it. Alright, so cool wallpaper, and like I said, this house has a lot to do with Horror Nights, Legendary Truth, and it says here, the Spirit Seekers have created a machine to attract spirits and are broadcasting live from one of the most haunted sites in the U.S. Ghosts of the Wyandotte Estate, built by Malcolm Lydia Wyandotte, are told to have inhabited there since Malcolm killed his wife. Wow. 13 guests and himself on October 30th, 1929. Now on as the murder, hear their call, their answer. The team will terrible violence.
Basically, this house was built more. Now, we've never in the past had a ghost-themed haunted house based off paranormal. Now, this one, when I said that Horror Nights really threw the technology at us, this is the one that we saw the big throw. Now, to me, it reminded me of walking through a haunted mansion, which was actually really cool. Now, each of the scenes were themed to various parts of the house. You can see where the ghost team has wires and electrical equipment and all the ghosting stuff around. But not just the way the scares came at you was a major increase. Like, you thought, oh, there was a wall in front of you, light turned on behind, someone jumped out on the other side, so it really made you're like, oh geez, like I didn't expect that. But this is my second favorite house of the year.
Yeah, they like to do that.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the first year that we actually collaborated with Legendary Truth, believe it or not, which Legendary Truth, over the course of the next few years that you will hear, has been incorporated in some way. But this is where it originated. It originated at this year, 2010.
Wow. Alright, guys, next house, the Orphanage, Ashes to Ashes. Here is the wallpaper for this one. And hope you enjoyed the wallpaper. He's going to take this bio now.
Ashes to ashes, forever now dust. For years she has existed in the shadows, never getting her due. Misunderstood by all around hurt. She has had enough of her playthings at the Good Harvest Orphanage. Now it is time for vengeance. This burned out shell contains the souls of the forgotten and the lost who all scream one name. Cindy.
And I feel Cindy should get her own event.
Cindy is written as the caretaker's daughter. She never got her fame
yet,
although everybody's hoping. But this house, basically, as you walked through, you smelled the smell of like burning wood. And the whole house was like things are falling apart. The children who were burned alive jump out at you. They used flame effects to simulate walking past a window with roaring flames outside, which made it feel like the building was still on fire with the burning embers. And then near the end of the house, you came face to face with Cindy.
Wow.
But it was an incredible house, and I actually enjoyed it.
Cool.
But yeah.
Alright, so moving on. Next house is Psychoscarapy Agos of Shadybrook. And, yeah, here's the paper for that one. Alright, and this bio reads as follows. They say truth is far stranger than fiction, and it happens that in this instant, they happen to be correct. Although Shadybrook's doors have indeed been closed for the last 15 years, the place is still very much alive with all the criminally insane souls that has ever walked the halls.
I remember this house being spooky because all the psychoscarapies that I've been through in the past had filtered comedy through it, which made it a funny yet scary. You would go into an insane asylum and be creeped out by these inmates. Not this one. All the inmates that were in this house were past spirits and were so evil that nobody knew what happened to them. And the scares in this house were not comedic. This was actually outright terrifying, the way that they executed these jumps. And even walking through, hearing the melodic music in the background still gave it a next level of terror walking through. But this was a good one. I like this one.
Alright, so moving on, Zombie-Geddon is the next house, and as well as the final house for this year, this anniversary year. And here is the wallpaper. Bio, please.
And here is the bio. It's Z-Day plus 6 months. The U.S. government has taken back the continental states while clearing the remaining Canadian infestations. They license and sanction private companies to capture unlive subjects for target training. Dozens of independent training companies appear promising, but the best training that money can buy. Then there's ZAP, the Zombie Awareness Program. Now, every year, Horror Nights comes usually with a comedic house, although we haven't had one recently.
Yeah, true.
But this one was actually kind of cool. You walk through, they gave you these zapper guns as you walk through, and you would actually shoot at the scare actors and they'd react. But walking through was kind of like reliving Dawn of the Dead, the remake from 2004. You walk through different sequences and the zombies would come at you and you'd aim at them, and the video out front of the house showed you what you were going to be doing and what ZAP was all about, which was really interesting. So it gave you a nice backstory. But overall, this house was very interactive, which I'd never seen before. And now, of course, other haunts are using this technology. But like I said, another technology for this event that we've never seen. And again, that relates to Horror Nights 20, seeing new technology that we've never seen, although plussing what we've already done. But very interesting.
Alright guys, that's the end of the houses, guys. Now we're moving on to the scare zones.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So first scare zone is the Coven. Here is the wallpaper for the Coven. Alright, and the bio for the Coven is: the cult of the Raven has unsettled spirits, and its sirens are screaming throughout the witch's realm. As you creep past their obliques, beware their spells. For those they don't believe will become condemned to death. So, explain the Coven.
This one I vaguely remember, but I do remember walking through seeing pilgrims tied to wooden poles like they were being burned at the stake. They were bounded by their hands, hanging over what looked to be a burning pit, with evil witches running around casting the spells at guests while walking through this zone. I remember it being a very tight zone because of its location, but it's an interesting concept because we haven't really tapped into a coven-based zone until this year, and then of course as the years progress we keep tapping more and more and more into it. But very interesting concept for this one.
All right, so then moving on, the next scare zone is
Escalito Muerte.
All right, so let's take a look at the wallpaper. All right,
and here's the bio for this one. Revel in the seductive taunts of death as you wind through a glowing skeletal nightmare. The basis theme for this one was basically the Mexican Day of the Dead. A very black-lit scare zone with high vibrant neon colors, skeletons jumping out of coffins, people running around with face makeup that made them look half human, half skeleton. This one was really cool because they even utilized the buildings nearby using lighting projections on the walls to simulate a Mexican Day of the Dead. Now, this was an interesting take because I've never seen a scare zone like this. But again, breaking boundaries, breaking up milestones. This year has hit it all.
all right, and we have the next scare zone, Fear Revealed. So I'm assuming this was the Icon scare zone.
Yes,
All
this
right.
was the Icon.
So we'll take a look at the wallpaper first and then discuss this. And bio for this one is as follows, guys. The souls of chaos, death, sacrifice, mythos, and vengeance. He created them and gave them terror. Each with a part to play, they fulfilled their tasks. Their malice provided him bone. Their rage gave him blood. And their terror fulfilled his soul. What has been 19 cycles, for some have been eons for him. He's waited patiently for the final piece, and now, on the 20th cycle, he is revealed.
This scare zone actually focused on the key icons, each one given a name, meaning Chaos. Chaos was Jack the Clown. Death, the caretaker himself. He's all specialized in death. Sacrifice, the director. He used to sacrifice his victims while filming them.
Yep.
Mythos, aka Legends, was the storyteller who wrote books and spun the stories of legendary characters. And the final one being Vengeance, the usher who actually takes vengeance on people for disrespecting his palace theater in the past. In this zone, you came face to face with all of those icons, and then Fear himself being right at the foot of the zone, talking to guests, welcoming them to the 20th cycle of HHN.
Nice.
It was a brilliant idea for this one.
Very nice. And at the beginning of this video, you saw the video for the actual archway that told all of their what do I want to say?
All their backgrounds.
Yeah,
where they're from.
So that whether the caretaker would be
Death.
Death.
And I forgot to
so on and
mention
so
that
forth.
Jack being Chaos, he would just cause havoc in the ways that he would dispose of his enemies and victims. Like, he was just flat mad crazy. But that's what made him so iconic. That's what made every one of these icons iconic from the past to now.
So, basis is they all have a meaning.
Exactly.
So, alright, moving on. Next scare zone is HHN 20 Years of Fear. Alright, and we'll take a look at the wallpaper first and explain the scare. Alright, cool wallpaper. Now to explain the bio is Luke.
Step into the shadows of the last 20 years of fear. Move towards the lantern and encounter the most frightening characters of Halloween Horror Nights past. The theme of this zone was the warehouse commercial, which you will see later on. The theme of the actual zone was you stepped into the warehouse gates, and as you looked along the walls, you saw past props, costumes, and even the characters from past mazes and scare zones running around waiting for you to walk through. But before walking into the next zone after that, Fear Revealed, you stepped into the lantern to meet the icons, because we've all wondered, where have the icons gone after their years had passed? Fear has them all in his lantern, and now we get to step through and see what they've been doing the last few years, and why they just all of a sudden disappeared.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a very good zone.
Very interesting. Alright, the next scare zone, guys, moving on. Saws and Steam. Alright, here is the wallpaper. Alright, so cool wallpaper, and I'm going to now explain this scare zone. It says, enormous trenches in the Earth's crust have been opened below its vast oceans, exposing them to intense heat. Steam power is essential to the inhabitants of New Yorkshire, but diminishing oceans have put the city in jeopardy, forcing the citizens to evil lengths. Beware upon entering the city, as the water in your body is now coveted resources, and the citizens will stop at nothing to get it.
The theme of this zone was very steampunk, so it kind of really set the bar. Every night they would sacrifice somebody. Basically, it was a scare actor for basically exactly as he just mentioned. Water is scarce. Your body contains a certain percentage of water. Crush it up, break it down. You have power to power. You have the power to power whatever machinery you have. But like I said, very high on the steampunk feel. This was actually the kickoff for the steampunk evolution during Halloween Horror Nights. And again, it's revolutionized throughout the years as the years progress. But this was a really cool zone. It wasn't very big, but for where it was, it did justice for it.
Justice? Okay.
Did justice.
And I just want to mention, this was actually one of my girlfriend's favorites when she went. One of her favorite scare zones. So, all right, moving on, guys. The last scare zone for a total of 6. Zombie Gra. And this looks like a cool wallpaper. Let's take a look. Alright, so cool wallpaper, guys, and now to explain this last scare zone is Luke.
Don't fail me now. The Mardi Gras parade has gone severely off course, infected by the North American zombie infestation. The undead walk among us, searching for their next meal. What was really cool about this scare zone is it ties into coming out of Zombiegeddon, because as soon as you exit, you're in the zone. But this zone plays off another Universal event that we have every year, which is currently running, Mardi Gras. The music in the background was all from the Mardi Gras parade, and as well as the park-wide music at the time. Zombies running around with body parts in their mouth, beads like all bloody. The music itself would die out every so often, as if being short-circuited or just the machinery like going haywire. And then every time the music stops, the zombies attack. So the music is what kept the zombies at bay. Again, another untouched theme, but very well created for this. And I've always wanted to see this theme revolutionized again, possibly in Horror Nights' future, which would be really cool to see them impacted again. Because this was not really a scare zone per se. The theme of the scare zone, it was actually more funny. It's the comedic design. There's always that comedic design each year that they filter in, which is kind of cool, because even comedy can be scary at times.
I'm kind of glad I didn't actually go, because I probably would have laughed dying.
You probably would have died laughing.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Anyways, that is all of the scare zones for this year, and now we had 2 shows this year. First one, our beloved Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. It hurts that it's gone.
I do.
And you'll figure that out as we move along. But it's part of the lineup this year still. Here's the wallpaper. Excellent! And this bio reads, of course, party on as those 2 most excellent dudes return to skewer the biggest names in entertainment pop culture. And
come to think that I vaguely remember this year's show.
do tell about this year's show.
I'm actually trying to recollect my thoughts on this one, and it's haunting me because I've been to Bill and Ted since 2000, and I think my first year was 2006, which was probably by far the funniest show that I've seen. I wasn't really interested in Bill and Ted per se until 2006 because I was more interested in the event and the houses and everything like that. But Bill and Ted has become a part of me, going to every show.
Yep.
And like he says later on, not to spoil, although you already know, its demise. It was very heartbreaking the final year.
Like you said, you started going in 2006, and that was my first year that I ever went to Horror Nights.
But this year's show, 2010, I can barely remember anything from the show, and that's so creepy because usually I have a good knowledge of it, but my mind's just blank.
Basically, in 2010, if you remember any of the highlights or anything, like any phrases or any hit videos, any type of movies or music or any type of thing like that that was a hit or very popular, they would base the event around that. So anything around 2010, that is what you're basically going to get.
That's the basis theme of the show. Every year, whatever comes out that year, it could be movies, like you said, movies, music, pop artists, things that have happened in real life. They will capitalize on it and make fun of it just for the sheer joy. But it was an awesome show, and I really miss it very much.
Throw me another snow cone.
Oh, jeez, too soon. Too soon.
If you went to the show, you'd understand that. All right, so moving on to the final show is Brian Brushwood, Menace and Malice. And here is a wallpaper for. Alright, to explain this last show is Luke.
Experience 2 realms of bizarre magic by one of the country's most outrageous illusionists. And again, I did not see this show. I went to Bill and Ted, but I don't remember anything on it. But I'm not really a big fan of illusions and stuff like that. I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't know. Bill and Ted was always my favorite to go to. But yeah, that's the 2010 lineup.
I saw it in 18. I know what he does and everything. It's just magic and stuff like that, and cool illusions and stuff.
He's incredible. It just doesn't break my fancy as far as illusions. So,
but yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, it was that was the show. So, all right. So now that's pretty much all of the 8 houses, 6 scare zones, and 2 shows that complete Horror Nights 20. And now we'll discuss the ticket prices as well as the dates. Now the dates are as followed. Dates ran from September 24th all the way to October 31st. So those were the dates for Halloween Horror Nights. Yep. And your ticket prices were what, Luke?
Ticket prices for a single night admission was $74.99. A frequent fear pass without express, $74.99. That's weird. That's weird. They're the same price. I didn't know that.
Plus tax, yeah.
Plus tax. Now the frequent fear plus pass. This one included Fridays. This one was $89.99.
Yep.
And then you have the frequent fear pass with express access, running in at $154.98. And then the frequent fear plus pass with express was $239.98.
So, as you can see, as we have now moved on to an anniversary year, the tickets have actually gone up a little bit, as well as you've had more choices as well.
Yes, this was the first year that we implemented, I believe it's the first year that we implemented Frequent Fear Plus. Because later down the road, you'll hear another one that has been recently added.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest one that we have to date.
We'll get to that in another video. So that's pretty much the event, with the icon being Fear himself. And now we got a couple surprises for you. We're going to go ahead now and show you the commercial for the event.
For the past 19 years, he's been the master behind every scream. And now, the thing you most have to fear is Fear himself. Halloween Horror Nights, only at Universal Orlando Resort.
It is the 20th cycle. I am the darkness of your shadow. I crave the screams you hold inside. For 19 years, chaos, death, sacrifice, legend, and vengeance have led the way. I demand more. This is not about the past, only the future. I am getting close.
So awesome commercial, and I hope everybody enjoyed that. And now we have a 3-part thing that introduces Fear. And what is this again?
His plot, his plan for this entire year. Part 1 being why he's here. He will explain the 19th cycle as well as the 20th cycle and what he plans to do. Part 2 will show him pulling the strings for each character. When you think that these characters were all doing this by themselves, they're actually working for Fear. Fear was working them to get the scares that he needs to bring him to physical form. Part 3, it is the 20th cycle. He will be seen, and basically this ends the video to prove, okay, he is the master behind these icons. And now you're going to see what he plans to do at the event with these icons.
He's behind the screens.
Yep.
Alright, so in back-to-back line here, part 1, 2, and 3. Here we go. Part 1.
It is the 20th cycle. I am the darkness of your shadow. I crave the screams you hold inside. For 19 years, chaos, death, sacrifice, legend, and vengeance have led the way. I demand more. This is not about the past, only the future. I am getting close.
That was awesome. Now, part 2.
Soon you will be in my grasp, and I shall relish the echoes of your cries.
I have remained as merely legend.
A new era of darkness shall now be ushered in.
Taking my playthings from inside
the box.
And accepting
Their willing sacrifice.
for me no things created unless eternal. And
It's getting better. Part 3.
It is the 20th cycle. I waits no longer.
no rhyme.
No reason. No escape. No happy ending.
no one
To save you.
as the light flashes and
Fades from your eyes. You shall be in my grasp. What has been tradition shall forever be changed. Face me.
Alright, so we hope you guys enjoyed that 3-part thing introducing Fear himself. And now we have a exclusive clip here of Jim who?
Jim Timon, who is the senior VP for Universal. He also talks about raising the bar for Halloween Horror Nights. Like, he'll talk about the past few years and how this year really pushes the boundaries for the next 20 years of Fear.
Yeah.
So,
Take
it's a good clip.
Take a look. Let's watch it.
Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando is the biggest, most intense Halloween event in the country, in the world. No one does it bigger, no one does it scarier, no one does it at a level that Universal Orlando does it. When you come through the gates of Halloween Horror Nights, you're giving up control. We will invade your space, and people, I think, are attracted to that in a certain way. We like to be scared. We like to be startled. It's a raw emotion. It's a raw response. And when you get that little rush of adrenaline, your heart goes faster, your brain responds, your eyes open wide. That's what Halloween Horror Nights does for you. We have really redefined what the Halloween experience is over the last 20 years. But for our 20th anniversary, it's about taking everything that we've learned and everything that we've created over 20 years and really looking forward. And what can we do now to make the next 20 years even more intense and even more frightening? We'd love to show you how we do it, how we design it, how we think of it, how we build it, what it looks like behind the scenes. It takes 1,000 people every night to make Halloween Horror Nights happen. The designers and the artists and the makeup and the prosthetics and the characters and the team of people that it takes to make this happen is the really intense experience. And that's the piece that the public never sees, but it's the piece that is so intense and so cool about this entire thing. That's the part we'd love to show you.
And that is it. that is Halloween Horror Nights 20 Years of Fear.
It was
Overall synopsis of the event?
very well done. I like the anniversary years. They really, if you're a newcomer to Halloween Horror Nights and you start up on an anniversary, you start up on a great year. Because not only do you see the future of the event, but you also get a taste of the past while enjoying the current version. But this was a really strong year. I mean, like I said, it's my second anniversary year. But if I count my overall times I've been the Horror Nights, it would be, this year would be 6, I believe, for me.
Nice. Now, my girlfriend, on the other hand, said it was okay. It wasn't her cup of tea. She has other years that are coming up soon that she likes way more, as well as me. My favorite we have not talked about yet, and you'll get a lot of good stuff from that, I can guarantee you.
Basically, this year, 2010, was the end of an era. Basically, you will see a different progression of Halloween Horror Nights in the next few years, like what way they went, like getting rid of icons, and you'll see more intellectual property houses and everything in the near future of Halloween Horror Nights.
But I miss icons. I miss the archways. I miss how it used to be. I hope they bring something back. Something.
Well, actually, no, I can't say that because Fear was not the last created icon that HHN has done. It was actually Lady Luck. And then, of course, we bring back past icons. Along with meeting a few new ones, as well as some mascots.
And you'll get a taste of Lady Luck in the next HHN video.
21.
She's the next one, but we're not going to go in detail just yet. So that's it. That's Halloween Horror Nights 20. We're closing this out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. Big shout out to my brother Luke here for helping me out, explaining the event, because I didn't get to go, unfortunately. Hopefully that never happens again. I cried. And with that, hope I was just in time. Peace.
Season screamings, everyone.